What you up to now? Day 979. Obviously, I'm a stuffed shirt. Stuffed shirt was our idiom today for Supersize Your Business. This is me, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom, documenting my journey as I transition from the brick and mortar world, the corporate world over a quarter century in corporate America, plus involvement and ownership in different varying degrees in like at least 27 different businesses and industries. So I've been involved in and have my fingers in a lot of different pies over the years. And I like to think that's taught me some things, and boy, has it taught me some things and not to do. Some big mistakes that I've made. Some limitations that I found in myself and my own personality, which is always a good thing, because guess what? When we know what we stink at, we can find people that are good at that and that love to do that, that can help us in filling those gaps for us. Because guess what? As human beings, we're imperfect. We want to achieve things. We want to do things, which is what we're going to talk about today a little bit. But we don't ever have everything we need. And people will say, everything you need is already inside you. I totally believe that. But sometimes what we need to do is find other people and other things and be resourceful to achieve the overall big things that we want. Big things we don't achieve alone. Big things we achieve with other people and other resources. So what do you want was the topic of our Get Up and Go Challenge today. Day 3 of the October 2020 free 30-day Get Up and Go Challenge. During COVID and during the pandemic, I've done this challenge. This is the 4th time I've done it over a 30-day challenge called the Get Up and Go Challenge. And I started it because I wasn't sure what to do. I mean, I kind of knew what to do, and I knew I was in a pretty good position when COVID hit to just continue to do what I had been doing, but I also knew that I needed to do more. So often we limit ourselves and we just play really small, and I will admit I still play very, very small for what I could and should and am capable of doing. It's just something that one of my mentors reminded me of yesterday, and I'm like, all right, I'm on it. So it's something I'm going to think about and work on this weekend. But I'm still doing the Get Up and Go Challenge. I'm going to continue to do this Get Up and Go Challenge because I think it's a powerful way to help people realize some of just the tip of the iceberg of what they're capable of, and that they can control and manage and change and give themselves the result they want, get the results they want in any area or aspect of their life in a really easy way by just applying a framework to their subconscious that guarantees they'll get better results after a change or a challenge or a roadblock or a stumbling block or whatever you want to call it. After they experience it, after any experience, we want to be better off, not worse off, right? Even the bad experiences, we want to make sure that we're learning something from them as we move forward. So mostly the primary objective for me is so I don't frickin' keep repeating that same lesson or a similar lesson over and over and over again. And I have found as I've looked back at my life, it's those lessons that I don't learn that I keep getting served up and shown and experiencing over and over again until I get what the world or whatever is trying to show me, and then I learn it and I'm like, okay, don't have to do that anymore. Please don't send me any more bad relationships. Don't send me any more, physical health struggles, whatever it is. And that comes from learning, okay, it's important that I take care of myself. It's important that I pay attention to the relationships that I get involved in, and that I'm really paying attention, not just seeing what I want to see. So today was all about what do you want? And what does that mean to you? And because so often we focus on what we don't want, and guess what? That creates more of it in our life. Or we focus on what we think we deserve or could have or would be easy to achieve, instead of really going for the things that we know will light us up and make us happy and be the things that we can and we'll really get delighted from achieving and doing. Stuffed shirt, of course, was the Supersize Your Business idiom today, and it's a fun one. Stuffed shirt's a fun one, right? Don't we all know, or haven't we sometimes behaved like a stuffed shirt, meaning somebody who thinks we're more important than we are. We're putting on a false bravado, or we're acting. It kind of reminds me, I didn't think of this during the discussion in the video for that, but it reminds me of the act as if. Now there's a difference between acting as if as you're acquiring skills and mastering them to really be what it is that you're acting as if, and there's a difference between pretending, right? Or wearing false masks and being phony about something. And guess what? Human beings have BS detectors built into us, and we can tell phony people or people that are self-important or self-puffing themselves up from a mile away, right? We've seen it with politicians. We've seen it with famous people. We've seen it with leaders in different organizations. They get in a position of power and they're really not capable of handling it, and they're botching it up, but they put on all these self-important airs and cockiness and pompous and ridiculous behavior. And we all we have those detectors. We can tell when people are being genuine or if they're just trying to build themselves up. We actually can tell, believe it or not, when people are blowing smoke up our you-know-whats and making promises that they have no intention of keeping. It's pretty easy. If you watch people either in live, in person, or if you're, having a conversation with them, or even on television or on news reports and things, how many newscasters and reporters are stuffed shirts. They're pompous, they're arrogant, they don't care about the truth, they're just trying to set people up for failure. I don't know about you, but not the kind of people I ever want to hang around. So that was our Supersize Your Business for today. Working on the challenge. I would love to say that I've got the whole challenge mapped out, all 31 days, but I don't. I'm doing it one day at a time. And I guess I didn't intentionally do it one day at a time. I actually set up my framework, set up my pages, got set to brainstorm out all the topics. And what I found is every time I do that, I end up changing it on the fly anyway, based on what seems like the next thing we should talk about, what seems like the next flow and the next thing to talk about. And I can do it ahead of time, but I always end up changing it. So I decided this time I'm just going to do it one day at a time. So that's how we came up with today's topic. Well, you can't really work toward anything if you don't know what you're working toward. So what do you want? Yesterday was what's in it for you? What's in it for you to do this challenge, to do any challenge? What's in it for you to get better at handling changes and challenges in your life? And then before that was, just the framework and how we're going to do this challenge and how it's going to be a little different than the ones I've done in the past. I'm always evolving and morphing just like everybody else. So this one, I was actually under 10 minutes today. Yay! First one was about 20, second one was about 14, and today was under 10. I think it was around 6 and some change. So I would like to get the topics to 10 minutes or less, and then I'm trying to keep the action item that I ask people to do to be something they can just knock out right away and in a few minutes. Today it was just share 3 things that you want. 3 things that you want. Maybe the top 3 things that pop in your head. Maybe you want an ice cream cone. I don't care. It doesn't matter. I'm not judging the things that you want. Just what are 3 things that you want if anything was possible? Absolutely anything is possible. There's no hindrances to what you want. What would you want? Boom, boom, boom. And, start a running list. Start a running list of the things that you want, because I go back and I look at my list. I have a running list. I'll go back periodically and look at my list and start crossing off the things that I've gotten, that I wanted, that I wasn't I'm no longer consciously working on, but just the fact that I've written them down, my subconscious starts to put the pieces in place to have those things happen and show up in my life. And it's super fun to go back and just start crossing off the things that you've already gotten or that you've already achieved, that you wrote on a random list of things that you want. Maybe it's as simple as I want toilet paper. How fast is it that you get toilet paper? You don't have to consciously think about what's my plan, what's my strategy, step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5 to go out and get toilet paper, right? It's not that hard. So we want to simplify in the areas that we can and use the framework automatically. So that is what I'm working on. I'm working on mapping out the next day of the challenge. I was going to say the whole thing, but I'm not going to map out the whole thing. And other projects and things around the house, in addition to the book. I need to continue to work on the book. That's it. Go out. Have an absolutely amazing day. If I can help you in any way, ask in the comments below. Sometimes you just need somebody you can ask a question to. And don't go to Quora. Don't go really, if you got a question, Google it. And I bet in less than a second, you can get hundreds, if not thousands, and millions of possible answers to your question. So the biggest challenge we have sometimes is, how do we ask a question? How do we frame this into a question that will give us the narrowed down answers that we want to start to explore? Otherwise, sometimes you just need one person to ask. Again, I might not know the answer, but I can point you in the direction that will help you find your answer as quickly as possible. That's it. Have an amazing day, and I will be with you tomorrow.